It's your returning champion, Elgintensity, aka Gordon Trapsey, and these are the latest panelists on Middle Ground, a series that explores whether two different groups of people, opposed in their beliefs, can come together empathetically and find middle ground. If you find the middle ground on any of those ham planets, then you'll be at the equator. The first topic is whether being fat or skinny is a choice, to which a whopping 63% of Jubilee's patrons said no. Let's see if this group can improve that hideous ratio, which is still better than Tess Holliday's hip to waist.
I know what I do with my body. I know what I put into it, day in and day out. I choose not to eat some days.
I was wondering why that chair was holding him up instead of a boom operator. Now I know. Both over and under eating are bad for your health in the long term. That's why CrossFitters and body acceptance activists have made so many appearances on this channel. He could capitalize on that look though, because an empty stick man can be a very effective brand ambassador for a car dealership.
I choose, how I want to look, and I don't fault anyone for how they want to look or how they want to be, but I think it's a choice at the end of the day.
They have a few brainlet takes here and there, but I generally sided with the Hungry Skelly team, because they were more accountable. The majority of ignorance and cope, of course, came from the plus-size team.
I grew up in a very poor home, so where my mom couldn't provide the meals that she could healthily. So when we would get free meals, even then, it would be canned food, and it would be very much food that's not as edible. It was food for us, yes, but then I felt like once it reached a point where I was old enough to try to make my own choices, I made all of the wrong choices.
Take the side that being fat is not a choice. Explain how you got fat by making the wrong choices. Pick both. Canned food is not why she's bursting at the seams like canned botulism. While food choices are important, her main issue was eating too much for her activity level, regardless of what was in her trough.
I wasn't eating, and I was only eating grapes and lettuce, and that was mainly because I was in a sport, and that sport just worked me out so hard. And it was to the point where I just was scared to eat. I didn't like it. I would only drink water.
So do whales, but all that plankton adds up. I find it hard to believe that she was an athlete. Being the entire base of the cheerleading pyramid isn't playing a sport, and lettuce and grapes have too few calories per cup to realistically make a so-called athlete fat. The most likely explanation is that she drowned her salads in high-calorie dressing and washed them down with Welch's. I don't think the problem is what grapes Mariah ate when she's built like the mom from What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
When you were eating grapes and lettuce, were you thin?
I was as thin as I could be.
Were you still big though?
I was still big.
And she is still big, which means she hasn't figured out dieting over the past decade. That feel when there's more than one Mars with no intelligent life.
Do you think that right now you would not be capable of becoming a thin woman if you wanted to?
I possibly would be capable of becoming a thin woman, but since I was young, I was supposed to get blood tested probably when I was very, very young, and I never did. And they had mentioned that it could have been because of my weight and how that connects with my thyroid. I never made the connection, and I never had that leaning parent to be go and get checked out, go and do this, your weight is probably not your fault. It was always your weight is your fault, so that's your issue.
You mean your choice? It's possible to keep hypothyroidism under control and maintain a healthy weight. She could have seen a doctor by now to confirm that she has it, but she'd rather assume that she has it and use it as an excuse for being fat. The details of her diet still don't add up. Most people are terrible at tracking calories, and many starve themselves only to binge eat afterwards. She of course won't mention any of this. A lot of women lie about their body count, but all fat women lie about their calorie count.
I have to navigate weight differently. I have to look at it differently. My weight is the way it is because of medication, because doctors put me in this position, and I had to learn, okay, am I going to be so hateful of my own body that I am going to backlash and put myself through extreme gym nights, through keeping myself from eating things that I should be able to eat. You should be able to have a balance. You should be able to go into the junk food aisle like other skinny people do and still not have to worry about gaining 20 pounds.
You don't need extreme gym nights, just some exercise machines. Imagine being named Cambria and having no period of Nautilus development.
But I don't think skinny people go into this junk food aisle.
They
I think
certainly do.
Yes, they do.
I eat a lot of junk food.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of junk food.
I mean, my DoorDash would tell you otherwise.
She got hammered from all sides on camera. Stop giving Adam 22 ideas. Everybody eats junk food from time to time, even skinny people. There's nothing wrong with logging a sweet treat, but you can tell that someone like Mariah has recorded one sweet day more than once, and I don't mean a remix.
There's a thing called set points. There's a ton of research on it, that your body likes to be at specific weights. It likes to be in a specific way. So if you are fighting yourself to lose weight by not eating, over exercising, and you are damn near killing yourself to be at a specific weight, your body's unhappy.
And her body is dying. Sure, if you're 7 feet tall, you'll struggle to weigh 100 pounds. Using that to justify being obese is pure copium when there are countless examples of people fatter than she is losing weight and keeping it off. 250 pounds for a 5'0" woman isn't staying at a set point. It's approaching the point of adult onset diabetes.
Once I finally gained weight, I realized that first off, life wasn't over. I didn't feel any need to not engage in life the previous way that I had, and the attention that I got was different. But even as a smaller person, you get negative attention. And rather than trying to control my body to avoid that negative attention, I would prefer to address the situation as a society, make it more accessible for everybody to where we aren't feeling like I have to be a certain way that's normal in order to be treated like a human being and respected.
When you gain a ton of weight, your life isn't over, but it's definitely shorter and more painful. She wants everyone to respect her as a human. Best I can do is paying respects to her when she dies before 50. Doctors warning her of this fate is the negative attention she needs to worry about, not the weird looks from passengers who have to watch her rest the in-flight meal on her gunt because the table won't fold down.
I am fairly skinny. I'm 6'5". I'm 140 pounds last time I checked, and I'm severely underweight.
At 6'5", 140 pounds is severely underweight. At a CrossFit gym, it's a guy's deadlift max.
I'm the average weight. I'm the average weight for like women in America.
Yeah,
if we're talking about an average, like I'm gonna be the closest. If your biggest priority is to be at a smaller body, you need to reassess your priorities.
And she needs to reassess how much weight the camera adds. The average woman in the US weighs about 170 pounds, which is disgusting but still less than her weight. Nobody is comfortable being fat when they have to lie about how fat they are.
Well, obesity is already normal, so
Well, I don't think it should be normalized, and it wasn't normal
But
just a couple
what's the
decades
difference
ago.
between a obese person, myself, walking around in a G-string or a bathing suit, as I do almost every day, and a skinny person?
One takes a man's breath away and the other makes him lose his lunch.
I think people view models and Instagram people and all of us who are plus size and proud as we're pushing this obese lifestyle.
Yes.
No, I'm pushing the fact that this is what I live in. This is my life, and I need other people who feel this way to say, hey, I want to be able to wear clothes that look cute too.
And she can, but it's only cute to other fat chicks. She might be a model, but she has to be labeled plus size, the way stores have to label crooked socks irregular to signal that something's wrong with them.
I don't think we should shame anyone to do anything.
No.
I think everyone deserves to like themselves enough to like enjoy life. And if you do that as a fat person, okay. If you do it as a skinny person, also chill. It's not my business.
She can't possibly like herself or enjoy life when she harms her own body by being obese. I bet she's constantly in pain and has a higher risk of diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and more. That heifer saying that she has a fun life is like DSP saying that he's successful. Never be like DSP. Jubilee posted this episode 3 days after Thanksgiving, a holiday that revolves around overeating, and promoted some shady online therapy company to capitalize on weight gain guilt. Instead, most people with weight problems need barbells, sensible diets, and someone to hold them accountable. Being extremely skinny can lead to health issues, but morbid obesity is more prevalent and destructive in the US. It has also caused more delusions, namely that being fat is healthy and beautiful. In reality, a 400-pound woman in a dress is a model, like a Make-A-Wish kid in a cape is a superhero. They're both LARPing during their short time left on Earth, but only one wants to take others down with her.
0.
Like the video and subscribe to the channel, now.